Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Canucks. My name is RevTrev, and I'm so glad that you're here because tonight, whenever you're watching this video, I want to just talk about the biggest conversation this off season, and it's going to be about the unrestricted free agents and the restricted free agents in this Vancouver market. It is the most anticipated, hotly debated conversation that is going to happen all season. There's going to be so much stuff that's going to happen with this team. So I want to dive into who are we going to keep and who are we going to let walk. As you see on this list right here, this is a crazy list of people that we have to make decisions about. So I want to dive in, and I'm glad that you're wanting to know this conversation as well. Now, so today, there's going to be a couple things I'm going to do. If you're watching this video later, just please post in the comments who you think the Canucks should keep and shouldn't keep. But also, if you're here in the live stream, I'm going to get into the comments after I kind of share a whole bunch of things. Now, we got to remember a few things regarding this, because I know we're answering this question. Which are the must re-signs? And which are the players we have to walk? This team, in my opinion, is going to be very different than it was last year just because of the old dollar, the whole dollar. You can't afford everyone because right now, according to capfriendly.com, it's saying that we have $23.778 million, okay? Available to us. So we cannot sign everyone and fix all our issues, and you got to make this team better than it was. It fell short of the ultimate goal of making it not only to Western Conference Finals, but getting to the finals, and we want to win Stanley Cups. And so part of this video is going to be some of the conversations that I've been watching and having with the Vancouver, like with Allvin's interview, with the players' interview, with what people are saying in the Vancouver media. So we're going to talk about these things through, okay? So just a reminder, I do passionate, realistic, honest Canucks content. And if you haven't followed my content yet, please do. Please do. I really appreciate the support, and especially now that the season's over and we're getting into this really interesting conversation. It's going to be harder to get people watching, so I'd appreciate your support. I know there's a lot of content out there you can watch, so I do want to thank you for watching mine as well. And I'm saying, consume a lot of Canucks content. That would be totally great. I'm a big fan of a lot of our media people, our YouTubers. So check them out as well. So there's two RFAs, everyone, and that's what we're going to start with today. We're going to start with the RFAs. And the biggest RFA that we're going to start with, actually, let's go to the no-brainer RFA. This is someone who I don't think it's will we resign, it's how much are we resigning for and for how long. And it is Artur Silovs, okay? Artur Silovs, I'm having issues with the lighting here. It keeps flickering in and out. I'm sorry. Artur Silovs has been unbelievable. In fact, went from an AHL goalie to the third stringer in Vancouver to playing, 10 games in a row for Vancouver? It's insane how much playoff experience he got, how good he played, the guy who has ice in his veins, okay? So this is a no-brainer. Now, before I want to get into this, I actually forgot that I need to show you this first. I want to show you where these numbers are coming from. These are projected numbers, and I want to thank Grady for posting this on his Twitter account. As you can see here, Grady is, I don't know if it's going to show you this. Oh, he's the producer of Canucks Conversation, and why isn't it showing everyone? And come on. No, it's not working. Price and Rinkside. He does a lot of stuff. So I want to give a shout out to Grady. Good job. You do such an awesome job. Love your work. But he showed this updated contract projections from AFP Analytics, and they do all this stuff. Consulting firm seeking to provide innovative insight to fans, agents, and teams Focus on player evaluation. DM for inquiries. So I'm gonna hit. Oh, I'm already following him. Already following Grady. Okay, here. This is the Grady part here. Content director for Harrison Price, a rink wide Vancouver. Great guy. Washed up goaltender. Great. Actually, Grady, I'd love to have you on the show. So this is where I have here this Google this Google sheet shows every player in the NHL that's on a UFA and RFA and what they're projected. I think it says RFAs as well. Let me just see. On pending free agents. Okay. So whether it's UFA or RFA. So if you click on this, and I'll just retweet this. Okay. So just follow me on Kempner Canucks and you'll get this. Okay. So this is where this list is coming on. They're kind of showing us what was happening there. Okay. And these are where the numbers are. So let's dive through each one of the numbers. And this is just the Canucks team. You can go through any team on that if you click on that Google Doc. So awesome, by the way, that they do this. And it's not an exact science, but I'm sure they compare and they do all those things. And I find it super interesting, the numbers they bring up. By the way, I've been sick for 3 days. It's been brutal. It's just been one of those like brutal colds, fever, bad cough, the whole thing. Got to take one of these to make sure that I'm not like hacking up a lung. I've got my tea with some honey in it. I've got some water over here just to make sure. This is the best I've felt in 3 days, 4 days maybe. So I've been meaning to make more content, and I made content on the first day. But anyways, long story. Trevor, just get to the thing. So we're going to be signing Shelov's back. They are suggesting that he deserves 2 years at $1 million. I think they're going to give him more money than that. That's my personal opinion, and I think he's a must re-sign. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to re-sign Shelov's. Okay, statue in Latvia, and listen, he'll have a statue at Rogers Arena if he wins us a cup one day. I'm telling you that right now for free. Okay, this kid is unbelievable. Now, obviously, we were missing Demko. Really wish we would have had him during the playoffs. All signs said he was going to play in the Western Conference Finals, but a little too little, a little too late. So, if it's a 2-year, $1 million, that's a no-brainer. You just where can we sign? I think he's going to be closer to the $2 million mark. Personally, maybe 1.7. Now, let's talk about the one that's probably the most controversial. Filip Hronek. Now, that interview went sideways fast. Like, I have a question. Why will he not talk to media? Why not? I mean, so angry, and maybe it's just that he can't handle criticism. He doesn't like having to answer. Like, it's not like they're gonna go to him all the time. But today on the, you know what J-Pat was doing there, he's like, hey man, just looking for information. Like, how come you played so well in the first half and not good? I mean, that's a tough question, right? And what's the answer, right? So everyone's looking for I'm injured, but he's not injured. So I'm pretty concerned about these numbers. Now, he's a right-handed shot defenseman who's super young, right? Like, we're talking, was he 26 years old? Let's just see here. Filip Hronek, I think he is 26. Yeah, he's 26 years old, and his birthday's November 2nd. So it's coming up for this next season. He's going to be 27 years old. And I think the domino effect lands right here. This is where it is. If you sign Hronek for 7 years times $7.4 million, or 3 years times $6.1 million, it affects your whole budget. The question is, do you want him back? And if you don't want him back, who do you replace him with? Because we know something. If you go back to Tyler Myers can't play the minutes that Hronek can and be effective. Myers needs less. We need a right-handed shot. Well, do we need a right-handed? It's ideal to have a right-handed shot defenseman, right? Do you have to have one? No. Is it best practice? Yes. And I think that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to have a right-handed shot defenseman here. I know a lot of people say, why don't we just go back and get Chris Tanev? Well, maybe Chris Tanev's not interested in coming back to Vancouver. I'm just really not sure. I'm really not sure. So this is the toughest one. Would you guys feel comfortable 7 years with Hronek after only playing one half of a season? That was great. And a little bit of the debacle of the interview, not that that's a huge thing, but it's a little concerning, isn't it? Like, to me, it's like, is this the kind of guy we want on the team? Now, it seems like he likes playing here. He loves playing with Quinn Hughes. I mean, who doesn't? Right? Like, these are kind of things. This is the one I'm nervous about. I don't know if I want to sign long-term with him, so I'd be more of the 3 times $6.1 million route if we went him. Now, those are the RFAs. They're under contract. They can be traded, they can be re-signed, or they can go to arbitration if the contracts don't work out, right? So, yeah. Interesting. These are the two ones. Now, the next few are super interesting. It is, what do we do with the Lindholm deal? And they're suggesting that it's going to be a 5-year deal, $6.7 million, which is actually a beautiful number because it was 8 or 9, and that's why Calgary let him walk. So if it's here, 6.7 for a center, this is much more realistic. Now, here's 2 things you have to consider. One is his face-offs, his value to the team is phenomenal. Okay, this is really bothering me now. I have to fix this. My bad. Whoa. How's that? There you go. Look at this. It's so much better. So much better. Here's the thing. So he is his face-offs alone, his production in the playoffs alone, unbelievable. The depth down the middle makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like the Canucks are pushing really hard to bring Lindholm back. But when you listen to Lindholm's conversation, the way he did it, it's like he's not planning on coming back to Vancouver. I think he wants to make the $7, $8, $9 million mark. And if he goes to the market, he might get that. Like, he's been rumored to go to Boston a lot. And I think Boston will pay him huge dollars. They need better centers down the middle. Here's the second thing that you need to consider when it comes to Lindholm. We can't just forget that his regular season was really just mid. It was mid. Yes, he had the face-offs. Yes, he was a great defender. But if you want good money, you need to expect good production. This fan base cannot stand overpaying players, and that's a fact. Now, no fan base likes it, but especially Canucks fans. Do we bring Lindholm back here? Now, I mentioned again, if you're in the live stream, I'm going to get to comments about who we should bring back, who we shouldn't. But before I get to your comments, I do want to just walk through a few more of these people. I think the fan base is now warming up to the fact that this could be a realistic possibility and that they'd be happy about this. This is the thing I didn't like about this trade. I did not think we should trade Kuzmenko for him and Hunter and all the assets, all those things to get him if he was a rental. I said, if we resign him, I'm okay with this deal. So will we resign him? That's a great question that I think a lot of people are going to be up and down on. And right now, I'm leaning to the side that I don't think we actually get a deal done with Lindholm, which might not be worst case scenario, but we might. And if we do, it would. I'm not going to be unhappy about that either, depending on how much it costs. Now, this one I don't even have to bring it up. because you know Zadorov and how much I love Zadorov. In fact, I'm the guy who's been beating the drum for a long time that we need to sign Zadorov right now. No, don't wait. Just go sign him. Look at these numbers. He's made $3.75 million last couple of years, Calgary and Vancouver. And he's going to get a raise. What he's done in playoffs, how he intimidates, how he hits, how I just love his interviews. Everything about Zadorov, I like. Now, he's a left-handed shot defenseman. And some people say he's a third pairing guy. I think you want depth. You want 3 solid lines that you can roll out against anybody. And everyone talked about the strong, big defenseman of the Vancouver Canucks. I think Zadorov has to come back. And I'm totally okay with these numbers. 5 years at $5.2 million. Sign him now. And I just made a video about him, about signing him for 6 times 6. And I know a lot of you didn't like those numbers, but to get a guy with his production. Now, a lot of people, why did Calgary not want him? Why did they not want to re-sign him? Because he wanted good money and they didn't feel as good. And the reason why is because he turned the puck over a lot. Even though he's a fan favorite, hit people left, right, and center, he didn't have a lot of great nights. But under Rick Tocchet, Adam Foote, Gonchar, the coaching staff, right? He has really turned his game around, and I felt like he's played really well and rarely turns the puck over, like rarely. So I'm all in on this contract. Now let's talk about another fan favorite, the left winger, Dakota Joshua. Now I was listening to, who was it? I know it was Ray Ferraro was on. I think he was on Sekeres and Price today. Just trying to make sure I'm quoting the right people here. Or was it Donnie and Dolly? I think it was Donnie and Dolly. I'm not sure. Anyways, the point being is he said not everyone who has a career year is going to have another career year. Is Joshua the guy that is developing and he's just going to keep progressing? Or is he the guy that was his career year? Because if you ask me, he's been great in the regular season. He was pretty good against Nashville. And then he went really quiet against the Oilers. Really quiet. Now he hit, but he didn't really do much offensively. And that's an important piece to this puzzle. And I think that's really important. Now, I think these numbers, 4 years at $3.25 million, I'm okay with that number if he keeps producing. But you can't pay everyone everything, right? But his size alone, his age, I think is really important to think about here. Let's just continue to look at that. Where am I? Oh, why did I get out of there? Capfriendly.com. Come on, Canucks. We're going to Dakota Joshua, who's 28 years old. Okay, he's no spring chicken anymore, but he needs to produce. So I'm leaning that I really think the Canucks should bring him back. This guy, who does bring a lot of diversity, can play multiple wings, can also play center if he needs to. Lafferty had moments where he was great. Not great. He was really good. But really, he's a fourth line guy. So a $2.3 million contract for Lafferty, I think, is expendable. I think he still played good for us. He didn't. I wish he would have scored in the playoffs, done something a little bit extra than just take up ice time and really try to, be a defender. I know like some of these guys are definitely what do you call it? Your special teams, a penalty kill. He can do multiple things that way. This is a really interesting one, but the experiment with him playing with Pettersson, no. No, that's just not feasible. He played a couple good games with him, but he's a fourth line guy at the end of the day. Do we bring him back? Now let's talk about our center, Teddy Blueger, Stanley Cup champ. I feel like Blueger's a must because he brings the depth in the center position. He brings the depth in regards to penalty kill. And he's just a defensive player that's really tough to go. How many times on the penalty kill when they're passing across, he gets his stick down and he angles it and it goes over the glass? It's beautiful. He's in the right place. He knows what he's doing. I think we need to bring a guy like this guy back. This is the kind of numbers we need to bring him back for. If it's anything like this, I say sign him right now. Sign him right now. Because Teddy Blueger is what age? 29 years old. He'll be 31 at this stage. I'm sure he's looking for a 3-year contract for the Canucks. Now, the most controversial player in Vancouver, what should we do, is right-handed shot defenseman Tyler Myers, who's made $6 million a year. $6 million a year, everyone, for 6 seasons. The fans have not been happy with his production, his contract, nothing until this season. This season under Tockett's tutelage and Foote and all those guys, he's played well. He's been in the right role. He's played on that second pairing. But you need to understand that Rick Tocchet loves Tyler Myers. He played him a ton of minutes. A ton of minutes, everyone. And so a lot of people are happy to bring him back, but are you happy to bring him back at $3 million, $4 million a year? That's the question you have to ask. Now, Tyler Myers has a home in Kelowna. I think he likes playing in Vancouver. Does he want more money, or does he want to stay in the hometown and just play for the Canucks? Because now the Canucks have turned. The Canucks fans have turned their loyalties, and so many people want him back. So many people want him back. Okay? Now, another one is another controversial situation. 2-time Cup winner, Ian Cole. Left-handed shot defenseman, can play right-hand side as well. Do you bring him back for another 1 year, $2.1 million? Now, last year, he made 1.9. And a lot of people felt like he had a very good regular season. It's just that it felt like he was the sixth forward or sixth skater for the Edmonton Oilers. There's at least 3 or 4 goals that people claim that was his fault in that series. Like, if 2 of those goals don't go in, we win the series, right? So is Cole the guy you want to bring back? Or do we want to go with the young group route, bring a guy like Juleson up and let him have the number 6 overall spot? And then also, you got DPD, you got Wolanin, you've got people like Vilander that can start, and that's where I think a lot of this is going to go. So it depends on what they're going to do. It depends on what they're going to do. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit more. And then, of course, Casey DeSmith, who's had a phenomenal year. Thank you, Casey, for all your hard work. But I think it's consensus that with what She Loves has done, you're done in Vancouver. But 1.6 million, that's not too bad. That's not too bad to have the depth, right? But I think he's going to go to a different team. Like, why wouldn't someone like Edmonton or Toronto want a guy like Casey DeSmith as their backup goaltender? I'm telling you right now, everyone, like, that's a brilliant move on their part. Guy who can win playoff games, who can play significant minutes for an injured goalie. And for that price, why not? I think he's just with She Loves. There's no way we're bringing Casey DeSmith back, but it's a possibility. So I do want to ask you all who we should bring back. And so remember, we only have 23 million. So I'm going to tell you. So let's just say I'm bringing up the calculator right now. Okay. So I'm just going to go with what I think. Some of these contracts are going to be higher than they're anticipating, but we'll just use them as a barometer for now. And some are going to be lower. Okay. So we have $23 million, $23.7 million. So let's just say we're going to go with Shelovs. Now, I think he's going to make 1.5. Okay. And I'm not going to go by extra years. We're just going to go for this year. Okay. 1.5 with Shelovs. Okay. Let's pretend for a moment that we're going to go Hronek. And I would prefer the 3-year by 6.1, but I want to show you what it's like if we go 7 here. So if we go 7.4 million plus we go Lindholm at 6.7 mil, we're now at 15. We go to Zadorov, 5.2 million equals, we're at $20.8 million, everyone. We haven't signed Joshua back. We haven't signed Bluger back. We haven't signed Tyler Myers back. We haven't signed Cole, and no one thinks we're not going to sign to Smith or Lafferty. And this is why almost everyone thinks we're going to trade Hronek. But I have this feeling that not only are we going to trade Hronek, we're going to let Lindholm go. Because if it's me, we can find other players to replace these guys. I know it's easier said than done, right? But if we go Zadorov 2.5, okay, let's go to Zadorov. We don't go Hronek, okay? Oops, I put 52, not 2.5. Plus Shelovs, I'm going to do 1.5, okay, because I think that's more realistic. Joshua, let's go Joshua, okay, 3.25 plus, so that's we're at just under 12 million. I think we're going back with Bluger, 2.1, okay, equals, we're at $12 million. Now, do we go Myers? Do we go Lindholm? Do we go Cole? Let's go Myers plus 3.1. And let's do Cole 2. Oh, shoot. What did I say there? I messed that up. 2.1 equals, we're at $17 million, everyone. And if we go Lindholm plus Lindholm, 6.7 equals, we're over the cap. We're over the cap. That's without Hronek. I don't know how you can keep all these people. And this is the difficulty that Allvin has, everyone. This is the difficulty. Now, I've gone 29 minutes. Normally, I don't go this long before I get into comments. I want to hear what you're going to have to say. So if you're asking me, Trevor, today, I think we signed Zadorov, we signed Shelovs, we signed Joshua, we signed Bluger, and we try to sign Myers. That's what I think we're going to do. If we can get a bonus and get Lindholm for a reasonable price, then we're going to go. But as you can see, the money runs out real quick. Real quick, everyone. All right, let me just dive into some comments. Very first person who was here tonight. Jim, Lindholm is a keeper, and I like him a lot. I like him a lot. Angelo says none of them. I disagree. We're going to be bringing some of them back. That means Shelov's not back either, Angelo. I think I'll see. Let's just see here. Just keep Shelov's to save cap dollars for us. Okay, sounds good. Canucks game vlogger, good to have you here, my friend. Zadorov, Joshua, Shelov's must stay. Yeah, I agree with that. Those three have to stay. Now Kelly thinks that Teddy Bluger should go. I do not agree with that statement, but you are entitled to that. Can you imagine a third string goalie thinking you'll end your season in the AHL and that's it, but you're thrown into playoffs even in the second round? I wonder what was going through his mind. He said in his interview that he was eating it up. Roberto says, keep Lindholm, Dakota, and Zadorov. Okay. You were sick. Get well soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Glad we didn't do the Grogu exchange while I was sick. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, he's still here. And I put up my new characters. I got the Mandalorian stuff going on now, everyone. Look at these bad boys. These things are so cool. So cool. Love it. Anyways, that's my new spot right there. So I got 2 Mandos and the robot dude, whatever his name is. IG-11. IG-11. No to Lafferty. Yeah, I think most people would say this. Angelo says Hronek can't play alone. They're going to trade Hronek. Right-handed get a premium, but not $8 million. He literally disappeared in that's the thing I forgot to mention, Dell. Thank you for reminding me. $8 million is what he's supposedly asking for. If he wants $8, I'm sorry, you trade him. You trade him, everyone. Even if he gets arbitration for 7.5, it's just too much of the cap for us. Dante Fabro is out there for $2 million. That's who I'd love to get that guy. Not really. And Hronek wasn't that great in the playoffs. Also, his attitude isn't great. Daniel, see if Zadorov might be open to a contract for about 4.5, which I am all for. But with $1 million in bonuses for milestones reached, this could be incentive for Zadorov to elevate his regular season play too. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we're going to talk about this trade tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'm planning on doing another one of these. I'm going to talk about that trade specifically. Mike, I don't think the interview stuff is greatly overblown. JP needs to respect the players more. But that was kind of his point, Mike. So I understand what you're saying. Is everyone's has given Hronek his space, has been told that he doesn't like doing interviews, but here he is sitting there and they're asking him and he's just like not answering. It's like, come on, man, we've given you all year your space. Can't you just answer this one question? And then it got toxic. And I get the frustration on both ends, but he's saying I wasn't injured. So then what's the problem? Why didn't he? He's like, I don't know. And it's like, well, you're asking for a lot of money. So not that you need to tell the fans or the media, to be in all honesty, but you play in Canada. And at the end of the day, it's you and Allvin that's got to decide what you want to do there. Yeah, I don't think other teams want to overpay. You got to remember most teams are strapped to the cap, okay? So I'm with you. That way, if it's Z's drop play, they're not even on the hook for $5 million. Yes, I agree. I really, really hope you're right. Really. Sorry, I think the interview stuff is greatly overblown. Okay. Sorry, I went on a rant there and didn't even need to. Jack, there's actually a lot of right-handed defensemen available. Like who, man? Like who? I want to know. For the first time, we don't need Hronek long-term because of Vilander. So if he wants so much, he's got to have some good trade. Yes. And I don't want to sign him for 7 years. I'm just telling you guys that right now. I know Fabro is a BC boy. I'd love to have him in Vancouver. Trust me. Lindholm is going to play the market. I think you're right with the way he was interviewing. But you're right, Dell. Fabro is not the same caliber. $6.7 million is unacceptable for a third-line center. Use that money for a winger. That's very possible, Jack. It just sounds like if you're looking at what they're saying today is that the Canucks are actually already in conversation with trying to get Lindholm to come back to Vancouver. Yeah, if they both want $8 million, they both got to walk. Okay, so Lindholm is a rental, and I've said very possible. Dell, I would go 5 for 5 for Zadorov as well. Jack, I'm going to be honest. I think 5.2 is a bit much for Z. Just my opinion. I'd rather that he walk than 5+ million. But who do you replace him with? What I like about him is he brings the identity to the Vancouver Canucks. It's the kind of play you want to be tough to play against. Then you have to have players to be tough to play against, right? So he brings that identity. He's an intimidating fact. People are not running people like like our other players because he comes on the ice and he's the enforcer and he's that kind of a guy. I think I understand what you're saying, but I think the intangibles as well as the production we've seen is worth that kind of money, but we'll see. I actually think with contracts with built-in bonuses could be good strategy for a lot of players who had career years like Joshua. So if they regress, you're not risking. But they don't want to sign those either, right? They just want guaranteed contracts. And how does it work with the salary cap if you have bonuses included? Yeah, I know. After OEL, it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy. Dell says Canucks should give longer term at lower rate for this UFAs. Depends which ones, but yes. Mikheyev, I would look to trade or just buy him out ASAP. Yeah, that's another option. I don't think anybody wants to Roberto trade for Mikheyev. Not for how much money he's making. Yeah, man. OEL's on the power play, on the Florida power play. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Plenty of Joshua out there in free agency. Okay. I'd be down that Joshua deal, but over 4 is too much. I agree. You got to let him walk in this. Hey, Coach Rob Willie. I think that's kind of, I don't know if it's way too much, but it's okay. No raise doesn't move the needle, right? Okay, he's a jag. He's just another guy, right? Okay. Keep the lifeline together. Okay. Daniel thinks she loves Z, Joshua Myers, maybe Lindholm, depending on ask. Let Bluger, Lafferty, Cole, and DeSmith and Hronek walk. Well, you can't let Hronek walk, but you can trade him. Bluger is a 4th line center who can also play 3rd line center, so I do like him. I could see Myers signing $2 million a year, gives a discount. He loves it here. He could. I just think he's going to get more than that, everyone. 2 for 2, yeah, 100%. But he might be asking for 3.9, everyone. You need to know, or he might be asking for $3 million a year. You need to be like, you need to be there because it's Carson Soucy deal. He played Carson Soucy line. That was his line. He's a 2nd line defenseman for $3 million. I think that's what the going rate's going to be. I think the idea that we're going to get him for that amount, I think it's low. But we'll see. Give Cole $1 million max. Hard to give him $1 million when he made 1.9 this year, and so he plays that hard for you, and then you only give him $1 million. Now, granted, this might be his only place. Like maybe no one else wants him now. He's older. Let me just clarify how old he is. He's 35 years old. Like this has got to be his last game. This might be his last even. That might have been the last game you ever see Ian Cole play, everyone. So if the Canucks offer him a contract, say, you want to play in the NHL? We'll give you $1 million. He's bounced around a lot lately. So, but you're right. Cole is aging too slow or slow. Should get Luke Schenn back. Speaking of guy who's old, I love Luke Schenn, but he wanted to play in Toronto. They didn't want him back. Yeah, no, for sure. Casey, you love Juleson. You know what? We might have to, just depending on who we sign back, Casey. That's the thing. We might not have a choice. But I love Juleson. I would be very happy if he was our number 6 defenseman coming into the year next year. Honestly, I'm all in on him. Edmonton signed Cole 3.3 for 3 years. That's awesome. Yeah, I think most Canuck fans would be okay with letting Cole walk with the numbers. The Smith would be great trade bait. Well, he's not. He can't be. He's a UFA. So there is no trade bait. So you mean sign and trade? I wouldn't read too much into the Hronek with the media. A lot of European players like PD tend to be more private. I believe this is Hronek's first year dealing with Canadian media. Well, he doesn't have to play here if he doesn't like the media. But I just thought that was really weird on J-Pat's side and Hronek's side. It was just weird. But I understand both of their frustrations. Us Casey's had a good run in Vancouver. Yes, I understand. There's not a ton of money to play around with, but there's still money there. Yeah, they really want him, and some of the players trying to get him to stay. That would be awesome. Yeah, value contracts, Jack. You're right. That's what we need. Yeah, but you're going to overpay in the free agency. So if you get rid of all these guys and you're going to overpay in the free agency anyways, you might as well overpay a little bit with a guy like Zadorov, with a guy like, Myers or whatever. Like, you might want to just, so you get your guys, you know them, you know they fit in the system. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, you got so many people say, oh, just bring Chris Tanner back. First of all, he's super old. Not super old. He's older. And he might not want to come back to Vancouver, everyone. You might think that he's playing with Dallas. Maybe Dallas wants him back. Maybe he wins a cup with Dallas and goes, maybe he's going to make more than 4.5. I'm telling you that right now. He's making more than 4.5 next year. Canucks can afford it. It's just what they want to do with this money. And, Angelo, just so you know, like, Allvin is already talking to some of the guys, so they can afford it. So, I haven't looked into this. I'll need to look at that. So, Sophie, I think you're right. His last words sounded like he's planning on going. I'll get into this trade one tomorrow for sure. Lindholm's regular. Oh, by the way, Shannon, good to see you here. Welcome. Lindholm's regular season was worse than mid. He was only good in the playoffs, but still not extraordinary. I mean, I don't know what else you really would want Lindholm to have done. He scored the game winner against Nashville. He had 70+% on face-off wins. He was good. He was good. So I don't know. And just to remind everyone on this, if we end up trading, he's a $3 million player. That's what he made last year. Maybe he wants 4. Maybe he wants more. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So it's not just an easy swap here, everyone. Trade Demko. I mean, some people are starting to feel that way because he's been injured a number of years now. I'm not there yet. You don't want to keep them all. No. Yeah. There are holes on the team. Yeah, for sure. It will be. I think Lecker-Mackey is going to be a regular, or they're going to want him to be a regular winger. That will be where we'll save some money. Lindholm and DeSmith are 100% gone. Lafferty too. Jack, I'm telling you right now, from what they were saying today, is they're actually in conversations with Lindholm coming back. That they really, really want him back. It's interesting. I was surprised too. Hronek for Grogu. Yeah. You can have Hronek. I'll take Grogu because Grogu is way cheaper. And he knows how to use the Force. Does Grogu need a mask? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Zadorov, we need to bring him back. Yeah, you can. You can for Mikheyev. You can buy him out. The buyout, but again, that one. So there's 2 years left on his contract. Then it extends to 4 years. You don't want to keep doing these buyouts, everyone. I'll talk in another video about what I think we should do with Mikheyev. Okay, so when you guys say there's lots of Joshuas out there, can you tell me who? Tell me who. Because I just don't believe that there's that many Joshuas out there that I would come to Vancouver, right? So, oh, wait a minute. I missed that part. I would use a buyout on Mikheyev and then let Dakota walk and sign Lindholm, Zadorov. She loves Hronek. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Petey was the only one to admit to injury. Most teams are strapped well, except Utah. They don't have any. They don't have a lot of space. That's true. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I'm a huge Mandalorian fan. I wouldn't be in that because I'd be like the fat Mandalorian. It just wouldn't look good. I'd be more like the Chewbacca guy, like the fat Chewbacca. I love Chewie. I can talk like him too. Ready? See? How's that? That sound good online? There you go. By the way, I've been practicing that for years. I don't know. There's another defenseman that can do what Zadorov does. Not as big, but still do the job. I love Zadorov, but he's actually back. But he's actually my favorite Canuck. I don't think you're going to get a value deal. I think that it'll be interesting to see what we end up signing. I think he's coming back for sure, Jack. And if he does, I'm getting the numbers on my jersey. Cannot wait. I don't know, Raymond. That's a good question. That's a good question. Cody Glass. I mean, isn't he old? Isn't he? Didn't he? He came on Virtanen's year, right? I think you don't have any Dreamer. You're right. He could have a bounce back year for sure. I don't think you have any choice other than to keep him. Honestly, you can't. I do not think. Yeah, anyways, we'll get into that another. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. Yeah, Ellis, let Cole go. He was horrific. Okay, I see that. Okay, well, that's a good question. That's a good question. Because if you didn't let Horvat go, you couldn't have signed Pettersson. And you couldn't have the movement that we had this year. You would have been too strapped to the cap to make all the changes. You had to move him, and they end up getting Hronek out of that deal through a series of events. And then you had this cap space to go get a guy like Lindholm and see if he panned out. That's why. But I understand, like, hindsight 2020 now. See, Horvat was a great defensive shutdown guy. He had the one great year when we traded him for scoring and point production. So I still think it was a good move to move Horvat because it really turned out to be Horvat or JT Miller. But we'll see. A lot of people want Toffoli here. Yep. Depends. Again, how much is Toffoli going to cost? So the difference between UFA and RFA is this. A UFA is, if you don't sign into the contract, July 1st, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, which means anybody can sign him for whatever price they agree to. The Canucks have conversations with all our UFAs until July 1st. No, sorry, you can still continue to have conversations, But if you get to July 1st, it's basically saying we're okay with you going to another team. That is where the unrestricted free agents, I think we have 9 unrestricted free agents. So right now, until July 1st, there's a lot of contract negotiations going on with everyone. Who they want, how much they can afford. That's what they're doing right now. And Allvin has said, we've got a cap. I'm sorry. There's lots of people we want back, but we have a cap. And what's the restricted free agent means you're still under contract for another season. So Shilovs and Hronek. Now, if they can't get a contract done, what they do is they go to arbitration. And so whatever arbitration says is that you pay him for that much money. So let's say Hronek goes to arbitration and he's awarded $7.4 million for this season. The Canucks have to pay him that or trade him. And now some other teams might not want to trade for him now because of that. So the RFA, now the other thing about the RFA too is that another team can come and offer him a contract. Say Detroit wants Hronek back and offers him $7.4 million times for 4 years, and he signs that contract. If the Canucks don't match it, Detroit has to give compensation. So there's a lot to RFAs, UFAs, all that kind of stuff. So UFAs, if you don't sign them a contract, basically you're letting them walk. Sorry, I said that for UFAs, right? UFAs, if you're signing a contract, let him walk. RFAs are you have another season to work out a contract, or another longer period of time, not July 1st. You have until the season starts or until arbitration goes. I mean, then you have to pay whatever arbitration says. Does that make sense? You only have him for another 1 year too, but you still have all that time to sign him for a longer contract. I feel like I've over-explained this too much. Sorry. I didn't mean that to be as complicated as I made it sound. Shannon, Zadorov we keep, Shilovs we keep, and I think we keep Dakota Joshua. We let Mikheyev, DeSmith, and Hronek go. Okay, so that means we would trade Mikheyev or buy him out. We would let DeSmith walk, and Hronek, you need to trade him. I think that's possible. I think it's possible. I don't know about the Mikheyev part, but other than that, I think you could do that. Right, Dell. That's really what it comes down to. But how can it be? They're talking with him, so maybe there is. Canucks can't afford to overpay everyone, especially with. I know. I agree with you. Well, I want the Canucks to get a stud in free agency. That's why I want the value contracts. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Gensel is going to be expensive, man. I'm just telling you that right now. But I love Gensel. I think Gensel is the solution to Pettersson struggling. And it just poses the question, why didn't we just keep Kuzmenko? Because that's what we really needed as a winger. Right? Lindholm, Garland, Joshua line was my favorite line of the year. Yeah, I like that one a lot too, to be honest. But it's not my favorite one, but I just love anything JT Miller does. So I am not yet. I try not to like guarantee that I know it's going up, but it just went up. Right? So if they trade Demko, they should trade him to the Devils for Jack. Oh, man, I would do that in a heartbeat, bro. A heartbeat. But Jack makes a lot of money. But I don't think they would ever do that. They would never do that. Roberto, I agree. Lindholm was a big piece to the playoffs. It's hard to find centers. You're right. Especially those that win faceoffs, kill penalties, score. Yeah. I don't think he'll put up big numbers. Like, what are you talking about? 80 points? That's possible for him. He just was really bad in the regular season, just saying. I want to see Podkolzin in his role. Yep. That's another way you can keep it cheaper. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The Canadian market and media is different. He is fun to watch. He is fun to watch. Yeah, Greenaway. Some people say he's the next Joshua. I just don't see it yet, but he could be. Yeah, the Messi debacle is awful. I'm so glad I did not get tickets to that. I feel bad for everyone who did. Yeah, I'm all in on Zadorov, man. If you have not seen my Zadorov video, please go check it out. I'm a huge fan. In fact, let me just show you something here. Like this is when I went to Game 5. Okay, when I went to Game 5, this is what I did. Let me bring that one back here. Looks a little better. Murdoch tried to trade Mikheyev to Nashville for Zucker 1-for-1. Pretty sure they make similar contracts. Yeah, but they don't want that. Why would they do that? And I think Zucker makes actually less than Mikheyev. But yes, in a dream world, yes. I don't think he's going. I think he's staying, but if he does, it's sad. Yeah, he's slow. They said that they wanted speed for their wingers. Yeah, I don't think you're going to trade Demko. Yeah, we got to see Shilovs develop a little bit more. But he's making 5.5 right now, so he's not up there. Yeah, I felt like he needed to go to. It was either him or JT Miller, and I was the one beating the drum that I wanted JT Miller. Sam Reinhart would be perfect for Pedersen too. Gensel, Sam Reinhart, but why? If you're Sam Reinhart and Florida Panthers wanted you back, why wouldn't you just sign back with them? Just saying. But yeah, I like it. Okay, so yeah, good. I didn't know if I explained that well. I'm sorry if I messed that up. Oh, 100% now. But at the time, people were really upset. Yeah, I want a team to offer sheet Hronek so badly. I'm with you, man. No one makes offer sheet since yes, right? It could be. It could be Raymond. You're right. You're right. It's unlikely, but it could be. I mean, Kuzmenko had a lot more offense upside, right? Yep, great penalty killer, speedy, and another year to get that speed back. I just think he needs work on his hands. I don't know if, he had hands of cement, so I'm not sure. Yes, I did. While unlike everyone else, he wasn't happy with the season. Said Nux didn't get through the second round. Yep, I like that. Like that. That's what they say. But man, he could score. And boy, what did we need? What did we need in the playoffs against Edmonton? We need scoring. I don't know. I don't know, everyone. I'm still not sure about that trade. And if we let Lindholm walk, then I'm really not happy with that trade. Yes, I know. I think we gave Pedersen too much money. But we'll see. Maybe he bounces back. And if he bounces back, if he produces, then he deserves every penny of it. I would do that deal. Dreamer, I'd do that deal. So Pedersen contract does not begin until season starts, so we could let Pedersen go as that would. We can trade him, Shannon, until I believe July 1st or June, middle of June. There's a time where you could actually trade Pedersen still. It's weird. It's like what happened with the JT Miller contract. Until it kicked in, But maybe I'm reading the contract wrong. Maybe he's on a no trade clause right now. But from what I've been gathering, listening to other people, it sounds like to me that they could still trade Pettersson. Demko maybe not for Jack, but Luke might be attainable. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I know. We're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in trouble, everyone, if he just doesn't pan out. So Ryan, I'm gonna make more content on this. I mean, we've got an hour on these. So I'll just stick to the UFAs right now. I think in my perfect world, just talking about the UFA and RFAs, keep it to this contract or this video. I want Zadorov. I want Joshua. I want Bluger. I want Shelovs. And then after that, I'm actually okay with letting any one of those rest of them walk, depending on how much Myers get. I like Myers, but at the end of the day, I was really frustrated at how he played in Game 6 and Game 7. He wasn't good again. And I don't know if I want him back. Now, on unrestricted free agents we could get, I've got a huge list of people that I want to talk about, and that's going to be for another video for another day. So, Ryan, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And everyone, you know what? In a perfect world, that's a tough one. I mean, in a perfect world, there's a lot of players I'd like. Like Gensel. Let's just go back here. Gensel. I don't know if I'm huge on Toffoli. Who was the other one that everyone was talking about? Whoever the other guy was. Demko's not up there, but he's saying in a couple of years he'll be up for a massive raise. My point is he is a bargain at 5.5, but not 8. Well, I mean, by the time he's done his contract, isn't he going to be at like the Markstrom moment? So I think at most he's going to be good in 6. It depends on what he does in the next 2 years, right? If we lose Lindholm and can't trade him for something good, losing Kuzi feels like such a way. It does. Petey's contract kicks in July 1st, and he gets a lot of money. Yep. I think Myers said he really wants to stay in Vancouver. Might take a team deal. I hope he does, Ryan. No, it was someone else. I'm going to do a video tomorrow on this player specifically, okay? Let me just scroll up and see. There was someone else Reinhardt, Gensel, love to see on our teams. Honestly, would love to see him. Now, this guy, I'm going to do some research tomorrow, and I'll let you know what I think about him tomorrow. All right, everyone. Over an hour. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this later, thank you so much. Thanks so much for all the support. Love making Canucks content that is passionate, realistic, and honest. Please follow me on the. By the way, can I tell you a quick story before I go? This is gonna be interesting. If you've been following me on any of these socials, I posted this video of the New York Rangers. Okay, they were so quiet in Game 1. I recorded it. Said that Canadian fans are better than American fans. Posted it on all my social media stuff. On YouTube, that short, I think it was, I don't even know how many seconds that video was. 22 seconds, 40 seconds, I don't know. It got like close to 600 views. On Instagram, I think I'm at 68,000 views for the exact same video. It's insane. It's insane, everyone. So, yeah, it's crazy. So check out that video if you haven't seen it. Reinhardt would be amazing. Maybe even better than Gensel. Yep, it's possible. Reinhardt is winning the cup. Why would he leave? I wouldn't. Yeah, isn't that crazy? 68,000 views on that Instagram reel. So just search Kempner Canucks and you'll see it. And read the comments. People are so triggered that I said that. They are so triggered. Like every time I open it up, everyone, It's insane how many. It's like you just got 98 more comments. You just got 100 more likes, like every time. Like, oh my goodness, I can't even say this one on things, but this guy just said they're watching the game because game, bro. F you. Want them to do and act like the NPCs in NHL 24. Wow, how's that for a guy? That's what the guy said to me. Wow. Don't pretend fans of Canadian teams are good with Canadian players on American teams winning the cup. Okay. No way New York is the loudest. No, it's not the loudest. I mean, that's my point of the video. New York's really quiet. Like, these are hilarious statements that so many people put. You obviously are clueless and don't watch Ranger games or just blind by the way Vancouver is home. Okay. Is home watching. No, I'm none of those things. I think that New York Rangers are really quiet, and I think they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's just unacceptable. They were down 1-0, and it was ridiculous. If that was Vancouver, Edmonton, well, it was Edmonton's in the Western Conference Finals. They go nuts out there. It's awesome. Vancouver would have too. Where's Carolina now? Like, the comments are hilarious. There's nothing to cheer for. You're down 1-0. There's lots to cheer for. Game 1, maybe you cheered. Maybe your team would have scored. I don't know. Oh. All right, last comment. I hate to admit it, but the Edmonton fans seemed like seemed like the loudest to me, and relentless with chanting the entire game. Props them. Yeah, they were excellent. They were excellent. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. I knew it would be a controversial video, so I don't mind that people say things like that to me. It doesn't bother me at all. And New Yorkers are spoiled for sure. All right. Thanks everyone for being here. Have a great night. My plan is to be back tomorrow night to talk about the Carolina trade, and hope you have a good weekend. I'm planning on having a great weekend. And of course, always, let's continue to cheer our team on, even when it's on the off season. I hope we have the best off season. It just seems like a very important off season. Very interested to see what happens. Of course, always go Canucks go.